Hi everyone, welcome to seniorgolfsource.com. My name is Brett Francisco, certified PGA instructor. And before we get into today's lesson, if you like what we're doing on this channel, please like and subscribe. We'd love your comments. So if there's any topics you'd like for me to cover, please comment below. So in today's lesson, we're going to talk about wrist hinge. As we get older, things start to slow down. Angles don't quite bend like they used to. And some people do have significant issues in their hands, specifically arthritis. So we're going to talk about ways that we can increase the hinge in our wrists to help increase our swing speed. It's a general term to understand, and I want to make sure that the education is there. But if you were to take a backswing and did not hinge your wrist, so as you can see the difference between a non-hinged wrist versus hinged, you'll notice that the golf club traveled a much greater distance behind my body. At the end of the day, all that's doing is helping widen the arc of my swing, which in general will give me more time to create speed in my swing. So if you're that senior that struggles with getting any wrist hinge because of the immobility in your hands, let's talk about the grip and how you're approaching your hand placement on the grip. So understanding the placement called weak, there's a placement called neutral, and there's a placement called strong. Now, you're going to get more wrist hinge in a weak grip versus a strong grip, but you can also suffer from club face position at impact. It's notoriously understood that a weak grip will hinge more, but it can also leave the club face open. So let's understand that concept really quick. If I were to go with a weak grip will limit the club face rotation, okay? So let's think about it here. If I'm a right-handed golfer and my lead hand comes on the grip, basically thumb down the center line of the shaft, this arm, if I were to try to rotate it over, can only go so far, okay? And that's even with assistance of twisting and rotating that arm towards my target. So the weak grip will limit club face rotation through the swing. So if you do hook the ball quite often, this might be something that you want to play around with. But let's hit the other two positions before we get into the understanding of wrist hinge. So weak is limiting the ability. Neutral, if we're looking at neutral, basically looking down, you can see that my thumb and my pointer finger are closely related to each other, so there's not this huge gap between. I'm not holding it like a pistol. Let's hold it like a golf grip. If we look on the back side of the palm for neutral, you'll see that it's mostly in the fingertips and the top side of my palm, basically running from my knuckle here on my palm on my pointer finger through the pad of my pinky is where the grip should go. Okay, so a lot of times I'll see players doing this, and in very, very rare cases do I see that. So you notice that I'm losing quite an amount of positioning of the fingers, particularly my ring and pinky, if I get the club out of position. But if I'm here, the grip pressure is going to be even throughout all digits on that hand. So now that I've got more of a neutral position, if I were to look at my rotation, you can see that that was pretty easy. I was able to rotate the club face over a lot easier than I did in the weak position. Okay, so if weak limits my ability to rotate the club face, neutral gives me a more balanced position of the club face to turn over. Well, you could only guess what strong is going to do. Strong is going to be very much so in the fingertips. It's like almost in line with that pinky pad knuckle right here. And that's going to be a very discomforting grip for most people. It's not a comfortable grip, but what it does, it allows for a great amount of rotation in the club face. So if we look at the two positions, or basically weak versus strong, which one's going to allow me to hinge more? Well, if I'm here in strong and I tried to hinge, I'm going to get back, and basically you can see the club is positioned just above my head. That's about as much hinge as I can get with a strong grip. Let's go to a weak grip and go to the top. You can see that I've made a significant difference in where the club is positioned behind my head. And simply, if we look at it, the strong grip is most likely going to create a bowing in the wrist. So meaning you can see from the top part of my wrist here how it bows down. That's going to limit my ability to create hinge at the top. A weak grip will create what's called a cupping position. Okay, the cupping position creates that opposite angle that we saw in strong, and that's what's going to allow me to get that club back a lot further. The only caveat to this is if you already slice the ball, you want to be careful going to a very weak grip, because it's definitely going to add loft, and it's definitely going to keep that club face more open than you might like it to. So what's nice about this understanding of the grip and how it can affect your wrist hinge, it's an experiment. You get to play around with this. You get to understand, is it something that's good for you? Personally, I don't need a ton of backswing. I'm able to generate a lot of power with my lower body and core. Therefore, I gear towards more of a strong grip, particularly with my longer clubs. So if I'm hitting tee shots, longer approach shots, you're typically going to see me with a strong grip. Now, if I'm in a position around the green where I need to create that high loft, and the last thing I want that ball to do is to turn right to left, you're going to find me in a position where maybe I have my sand wedge in my hand and I'm working on getting a little bit more hinge in the wrist. That way I can hit that soft, high elevated shot that I need to around the greens. You'll find that the weak grip inside of greenside bunkers is an exceptional way of playing those type of shots. If you played a greenside bunker with the opposite, meaning a strong grip, good luck. You're going to be digging a trench, and most likely get your chair and lemonade ready because you're not getting out of that bunker. So understanding wrist and hand placement, how they correlate with each other, is nice because you get to go out and try it on your own. So take this advice. Go to the driving range, go to the short game facility, heck, go in your backyard and work on, okay, how is this affecting my ball flight patterns and how is it affecting my distance? You might find that going slightly in between weak and neutral that's your sweet spot. That's exactly the right amount of what you need to get you those couple extra yards to help extend the length of your backswing while you're still maintaining control. So I hope you like this content. Please like and subscribe again. Brett from seniorgolfsource.com. Thank you.